Here we go. All right. For the revising section, this first question says, JT would like to add the following sentence to the first paragraph. Students from around the world are also part of musical marching groups. Where is the most effective place to insert this sentence? So what I want us to look at is that this question is an insert question. So here comes your first set of notes, your first set of tips. You ready to copy this down? Here we go. So for your tips, it says, for insert questions, find the clues in the sentence they want you to add first. So what we'll do is we'll analyze the sentence that they want us to add. We're going to see if we can find any of those clues. And I'll talk about those clues in a bit, like how to find them. Number 2, what we'll do is we'll circle, highlight, underline those keywords in that sentence. The keywords are what give you the hint as to what the sentence before and after should include. And we will use the keywords as a checklist. Okay? So you're probably like, what? What do you mean a checklist? We'll talk about that right now. I'll leave this on for like 5 more seconds. Here we go. Let me show you. We'll come back to it so you guys can finish copying it down if you need to, or you can take a picture, screenshot, something. Okay. So when I read this, it says, students from around the world are also part of musical marching groups. So what we're going to do is we're going to analyze this sentence and see if we can find any clues that can help me figure out where this sentence should go. Okay? For me, the biggest clue, the number 1 clue in this sentence is the word also. Why? Also is a clue because if it says students from around the world are also part of musical marching groups, what this is telling me is that sometime before this sentence, there was probably a mention, some type of mention of things students are a part of. So there was probably like other things. They probably mentioned other things students are a part of sometime before. So this is one thing I need to look out for. This sentence goes after some type of mention of other things students are a part of. Okay? The main words and phrases. So there's the word students, because that's the subject of the sentence. Who or what is the sentence about? The sentence is about students, right? So that I know, since this is not the first sentence of a paragraph or anything like that, that student probably needs to be introduced as well. This phrase here, around the world, stands out to me just like the main phrases, you kind of want to circle them, underline, highlight them, even musical marching groups. Okay. So I know around the world means that something is global, right? Worldwide, maybe. So we're using these things as a checklist, and I'll show you right now. But the biggest clue here was also. This sentence will have to be after some type of mention of this. Okay? So let's go in and let's check. We're going to see if we can apply this. So the first suggestion is to insert the sentence after sentence 1. Okay? So it says, let's check sentence 1. Texas is known for its superb high school marching bands. Students from around the world are also part of musical marching groups. So here, I don't see, first of all, where students would make sense to be mentioned here. Also, the fact that to say also in the sentence that follows this doesn't make sense either, because it says also a part of. So it doesn't seem like they made any type of list or things like that. So it doesn't really meet my requirements yet for what I'm looking for. The next suggestion, I don't know. I think this is weak. This one was weak. I don't really like that one. After sentence 2, let's see. It says, each week during football season, thousands of students take to the field to display their musical and marching talents. Okay, so now here I see a mention of students, even the musical and marching part, but I'm still not convinced because I feel like there might still be something else that might. And then there's still the part that I don't know about the global part, how that would make sense here either. So let's go ahead and keep going. But so far, if I'm looking here, for sure, it's after sentence 2. But I think we need to go a little further. We have those 2 things checked off. Now, if you notice here in the answer choices, they skip from sentence 2 and they go to sentence 4. What we want to do is we want to make sure we read even the sentences that they skip, because you'll lose a lot of context if you don't read them. So what we're going to do is we're going to read sentence 3 leading into sentence 4. Okay? It says, these same students also compete in local, state, and national competitions and exhibitions. However, marching bands aren't found in just this state or even just this country. Okay, so here we have again students in sentence 3, and then they say how they compete in local, state, and national competitions and exhibitions. This is other things students do. Right? So that kind of, for me, it feels like it meets the requirement for the also. But we still need to go further, right? It says, however, marching bands aren't found in just this state or even just this country. They say it's not just the state or just the country. So it sounds like they're trying to go even bigger, right? So what's even bigger than the country? The world, right? So this is all up to sentence 4. So did I find everything that I need? I found that. I even ended up finding this part here after sentence 4, right? So this one sounds like a pretty good candidate right there. Now, let's check sentence 5 and see if we could find a better place. Sentence 5 says, but in one country, there are marchers who skip the music component altogether. So in order to see if it should go after sentence 5, we need to see if there's a connection between 6 and 5 already. Because notice how the one that we talked about says around the world, how students around the world. Here we see that it says one country. So then you'd think that right afterwards they would talk about like an example or something. And they do. They talk specifically about Japan right after. It wouldn't make sense to go from one country to talking about around the world and then going back to Japan. It's kind of like building its way out to it. So here, this was a necessary connection there. If we put anything in between those, it wouldn't make sense. So the best place to put it was after sentence 4. Okay? All right.